All right. Welcome. Friday feeling. What's up, bro?
What's going on, Esco?
I'm glad to be here talking with my man, with my boy.
Yeah.
So pretty much a quick intro about myself. I'm a scrum half. I'm also a senior like George. We're just here to have a conversation, break down a bit of the fall season, and just hear a bit from George and how he felt about it. And I guess a little bit about me. I'm from Texas. Yeah, pretty much. This is my fifth year here. I was a transfer, and yeah, I've just been enjoying the grind with George here for a good 3 years now. So it's been
Yep.
good, grinding it out. Um, so first, I guess let's just a little bit of insight from the fall season and just a little bit about yourself, bro. Congrats on being named captain.
Thank you. Thank
Let's
you.
go. This is your second year, right? Second year being.
Last year I was vice captain. This year, first year is full captain. Yeah.
How do you think that was from last year to this year?
Yeah. That it was good. Obviously, last year being cut short was kind of a bit of a bummer because we were just sort of getting our stride underneath us. But yeah, it was good. It was nice having Brian sort of guiding me last year as captain, and sort of made it very easy for me to just take over from him for this year.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think? I guess from being vice to captain this year, what do you think? What has changed? I guess for yourself.
Um, I honestly don't think for me, like my outlook towards it has changed. I sort of had the same idea of what I wanted to do last year to this year. The environment's definitely changed though from last year. Having someone above me in the team, in Brian, and having a lot more seniors last year. I was the only non-senior in the leadership group, so the environment's definitely changed. Which, but my outlook on how I want to go about being a leader in this team hasn't changed at all. I just want to lead from the front, lead by example, and show the new boys coming in what Life University is about and where I want them to be in 3-4 years time.
Right, for sure. And I feel like as for myself and all the other seniors on the team, that's kind of like our role too, is just trying to like set an
For sure.
example for them.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
right, and like you've been doing a great job, so I'm hyped for you, bro. But
Thanks.
definitely like leading by example is big time. And I feel like you've been doing that for sure, and just showing like the new guys like how it's done.
Yeah.
Um, do you feel like when we're going through this like adaptation phase with COVID and everything, do you feel like you've had to adjust that, mindset towards being the captain, or has anything came at you that's
Um, Again, I have my mindset. It'll take a lot for my mindset to change. This being my fourth year at Life University, I feel like I've got a good grasp and having a good relationship with coach. I've got a good grasp on what Life University is about, and so my mindset will never alter from what we want from this program, even in this, even in the kind of environment that we're in. But there's been some challenges. Like right now, me and you having a quarantine, and we've already had to do it before. Obviously it's a bit, it's more difficult having to be a bit more not hands on with everything, but that's what comes with the job. And I know that me, you, and the other seniors are all ready for that kind of thing. We all thought about it over the off season, so my outlook will never change on this.
right. And I feel like when we talk about setting the standard and what makes like Life University Rugby different, I feel like it's just that like we, no matter what comes at us, we've adapted, we've worked, and we've kept up the same standard, which I think is a big pro, I guess, coming to Life University for anyone watching that is interested in coming to play rugby here.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
definitely have a big intention on keep it holding a standard. I don't know if you wanted to
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always kind of grown up with, I have a standard in my mind, and not all the standards in everywhere I've played over the world is going to be the same. But if we have a team that's kind of like, yeah, we'll everyone is welcome at Life University, but the standard we set across the board is the same for everyone. Everyone puts the same work in. everyone wants to achieve the same goals. And with that comes a lot of unity. You know, we have a very strong brotherhood, and it comes from those simple standards that we set, you know, in the very first meeting of the year before we even started practice. Even before that, in the off season, when we start talking about off season gym and things like that, you know, it sometimes takes some longer than others to get into the swing of that. But I mean, by the end of the fall, everyone is kind of like, you know, everyone's kind of in there understanding what's going on. And every year that I've been here, January's come and it's just kind of been a switch has just turned after Christmas. I don't know if it's, you know, everyone bulking over the Christmas and coming back extra excited but it's always been a good time in January, getting everyone back together and, you know, the season starting, and it's always just this massive boost of energy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know I'm dumb hyped for season to start.
Yeah.
Whenever you first got here, do you feel like standards the same, or do you feel like it's changed, or how was it when you?
I mean, the standard of rugby is always going to be high at Life University. It's always. I'm very confident that that's going to be the case, and I don't think now is any different to when I first came here, and I don't think it's probably any different to 10 years ago. You know, we still have some people in and around the program, whether it's alumni coming back or, you know, people in the men's club or coaches coming back, things like that. There's always people coming and reminding us of what Life University is about. And I think that's very, very important, because I've been, you know, in places, not necessarily rugby, other places where it's been so long since the tradition started that traditions change. And so, you know, being able to have coach who played, you know, in the early 2010s, and him bringing even people that were seniors when he first started coming back to talk to us it's always going to be that case. And, you know, the standard never changes. The person changes.
Yeah,
And so, you know, as I've grown over the years, the standard of myself from when I first started to now, rugby wise, is no different. There might be a bit more pressure on you when you're older, but, you know, that's what comes with experience, is being able to handle that pressure. And yeah, so as I said, it's just the person who changes. Their experience changes, their situations change. So I didn't have you know, my standard for when I first got here was simply rugby, you know, breaking into the starting team, winning a championship. Whereas now those things are still there, but I have you know, me and you have the added situation of being leaders on the team and having to motivate everyone week in, week out, rather than just yourself.
yeah, for sure. And it definitely like mold you to a
Yeah,
higher, yeah, just a higher
definitely.
self being, I guess, self standard. Um, no, I was gonna say, I feel like the guys who do well here, um, they have a greater purpose for being here, not just rugby. It's like
Yeah,
they have a
definitely.
deeper purpose for what they do, and they have a reason for it. Because it's definitely it gets hard here of the training and then going to school. It's hard being an athlete, and a lot of guys work. I know a lot of guys working 2 jobs playing rugby. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy.
It's a
Yeah.
crazy life here sometimes. You know, everyone's trying to make their own way. You know, keep their grades up and everything like that. So it can get a bit wild sometimes. But one thing that I'm very proud of, that I've never seen let slip, only, you know, maybe by a couple of people, is you know, in these 4 years, is the mind has never changed by any, you know, the mindset of rugby is always there. Whenever, no matter what's going on off the pitch, whatever people have got going on, as soon as we get to practice, to a meeting, whatever, it's, you know, that mindset changes back to the ultimate goal that we've all set ourselves.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, as you said, people just constantly wanted to give back to this program, and you know, really uphold the Life University way, whether it's helping out in the community, helping out with Atlanta Youth Rugby, things like that. You know, people are always giving back. So
Yeah, for sure. Um, so a bit of personal story for you. I know that you got injured last year. What happened exactly?
Oh, 2 years when I broke my leg. Yeah, so it was in the second conference game of the season against Arkansas State,
Yeah.
right after halftime. Really tough game. Really tough game. They really brought it to us. It was very close. I think there was only one score in it, pretty much the whole way through. And yeah, and we were attacking. We'd just broken into their half, and um, yeah, I got past the ball when I wasn't expecting it from the ruck. Keegan Sparks and Jamie Beresford will tell you that I should have passed it to them because obviously they're bigger and better carriers than I am. Completely ignored them, carried it in, and it was the Arkansas State 12, and he went to tackle me, and I got on the outside of him, and we both kind of like spun, and I guess he just had hold of my foot at the time and spun round, and yeah, I broke my fibula spiral fracture from the bottom. And I felt it. I spoke to him after the game. He told me he heard it. It was just one of those things.
Oh.
It was one of those rugby
Yeah.
injuries. It's happened a million times before. It'll happen a million times again. All in the rugby world. It was a shock for me. I've never had, I've broken my collarbone before, but that's just completely different. I've never had an injury like this before.
Yeah.
Touch wood, never have it again. But yeah, it was one of those things. It was just a freak accident at the time, and I went to hospital straight away. They said, yeah, it's bad. Went and saw the specialist about 4 days later, and he said, yes, you're gonna need to have surgery, and then I think 2 weeks after that, I had the surgery, got the hardware in my leg to prove it.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things, and it was difficult, and it was a difficult time for me because as I said, I've never had an injury like that, and it was just a weird time, having to go to practice and be on crutches, and everyone kind of show you a lot of sympathy, which, I mean, you know me well. I'm not one for wanting a lot of attention and a lot of sympathy if stuff goes bad. So it was just an odd time, and coach made it very easy for me. He wanted to keep me involved, and I tried to as much as I could, show some leadership, even though it was only my second year. But one thing I will say is it gave people like Julian Roberts a shot that year. And so, I mean, we won the championship that year, and the boys were incredible all year round. And Julian coming in as a freshman, I'm very close with him and his brother. And I know he was super nervous every single game. He would call me before a game and just tell me how nervous he was. And I mean, the kind of player he is. I mean, winning back of the year last year kind of showed, what that situation gave. So as much as it was bad for me, and I still struggle physically with my leg sometimes now, I wouldn't have changed it, because I mean, we still won the championship. The team were incredible. Mitch leading it. He had to change position, go back to his natural fullback. But yeah, it was a weird time for me, but I'm very happy for the way the team went about that season, even with things like that happening.
Right. Yeah, Julian Juice, he's a beast. I mean, yeah, bro. But yeah, that's good. That's good for those like hearing, and I guess a little bit more insight for and encouragement for people who have gotten injuries, and I guess they have a leadership role, or maybe they're they're just feeling down that they've gotten injured again. It could be multiple injuries, because that was a pretty significant injury, and I know someone might be listening that had some. How did you, I guess, keep up the motivation to still lead, and how did you do
that? I will say it was difficult at first. I was incredibly upset and when it first happened, because I knew that was my season over. What I will say is it doesn't matter what role you think you have in the team. It will change. 100%. You know, I saw myself as going into that year as a starter, as someone who can lead as a younger guy, having, you know, started the season before. And your role just changed. You know, I went more to a similar to like an assistant coach type role. You know, I was, you know, I spoke to coach and I told him I wanted to, you know, I'll focus on speaking with the backs, and people like Duncan and Mitch, you know, as, you know, I mean, they're both incredible professional players now, both played for, you know, both going to play for the USA in the future. I'm confident of that. But even they were, you know, coming to me and messaging me outside of practices, things like that, asking what I saw, what advice they can give, because, you know, your role changes, but there's no reason you can't be as involved anymore. You know, you can do your rehab all the same.
Yeah.
And every opportunity you get, just watch someone who's in your position, watch other people, learn from those people, because whether you're the captain and you get injured and people will still look for you for guidance, or if you were a younger guy like I was, there's always someone who will need that kind of outlook. You know, we say it at games that at halftime, a lot of the time we give our subs, you know, a couple of minutes to speak to the people who are on the pitch, because it's a completely different view from when you're, you know, on the field to someone looking from off it. And so it's just one of those things you've just got to swallow your pride a little bit and almost, yeah, swallow your pride of and sadness of being injured. You know, everyone's going to understand that, but just take that step forward and just, you know, it gives you a lot of experience going into a different role, of being able to speak to people on a personal level and being able to teach them different things and help them work on their skills. And yeah, I promise you, people won't turn their nose up at you. And if they do, they're a bad teammate.
Yeah.
People,
You got to be willing to grow.
yeah,
and
exactly.
If you're not willing to grow, then it's like, yeah.
Exactly. Because I know I would be the same. If someone came to me who was injured and they were like, oh, I think this, I think that, I'll never, you know, I'll always take it on board. Always take it on board.
No matter what position you are.
No matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Do you feel like that the injury kind of helped you as far as being a captain this year and perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it helped in a way that it gave me a good, it allowed me the opportunity to get more of a personal bond with a lot of the team who were, so, you know, it was your first year and Jared Miller's first year and things like that. And I know that we you know, we would have been close and had a good bond anyway, but it just gave me that opportunity because I was speaking to them not as, you know, as a player. I was speaking to them more of as like helping everyone, that it brought that different aspect to the relationship I had with people. And it shows today because I have a great bond with all of you guys like that.
Yeah.
And it just sort of made it easier transitioning to becoming captain, because having that bond with everyone is great. And then just being able, and so that means people trust you, they listen to you, things like that. And yeah, it just gave me a different in as captain. And it's really great looking back now to, you know, having those different conversations and looking at and talking to everyone about that kind of thing. It brings a lot more trust in that, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where you controlled what you could control. And I feel like those people who are listening, if you're injured, like there's so many different things that you could do to continue growth in your team. You know, like you said, you invested in different players. I know you hit a recovery process that was pretty rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that getting back to play? Like what helped you gain confidence? Because that's pretty intense.
Honestly, I mean, I you know, my 15th season was over, but I managed to make it back for the CRCs that year.
Yeah.
I did contact for the first time, I think 7 days before CRCs.
Wild.
Yeah, I mean, I knew, you know, I was going to see Sam, our trainer, every single day, do my rehab, and every single day I was saying to her, when can I come back? When can I come back? When can I run? When can I go full sprint? When can I do contact? Everything like she probably hates me for it now, but at the time it was just one of those things where I I can sometimes be the kind of person that gets caught being too spread out and trying to be everywhere at once type thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas with this, I tried to separate my injury from everything else, and so when it came to the recovery, I was so focused on the feedback I was getting from Sam about how my recovery was going that when it came towards the middle of May time when I was able to start full sprinting and practicing non-contact, I was all in it because every single time she gave me feedback of, oh, you're looking good, oh, it's looking better than I thought, I took that as a massive confidence boost that I could go stretch it even further. And yeah, it was just one of those things I just kind of tried to separate because I was so annoyed at myself for getting injured at first. I tried to separate all those feelings from everything else so I could stay positive with it.
mm,
And yeah, I mean, we came so close in that CRCs. I think I was more upset than anyone because I was so excited to get back and show what I personally can do and bring to the team. And it was a good tournament, but yeah, that
yeah.
recovery process was brutal. It
How
was
long was
brutal.
it? That whole
Well, so I broke my leg February 16th of 2019, and CRCs was I think June 2nd and 3rd.
okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, a few months. I was on crutches for 6 of those weeks. So however long that is, a couple of months. But yeah,
Yeah. Shoulder gains going on.
it was tragic. I mean, oof.
Yeah, bro. And the CRCs, we did well. We
Yeah,
what did we
that was a
get
great
to?
tournament. We came second, lost to
Like,
Lindenwood in the final.
crazy. Yeah. Lindenwood, our rivals. But I mean, it was crazy going to playing against Cal because that was a good game too. When they did
The final or in the CRCs.
during the CRCs.
Oh yeah, that was a crazy game. I was on the bench and came on sometime in the first half, and that's probably one of the craziest games I've ever been a part of. Rugby period. It was just one of those where at half time we were 19-7 down. Yeah, and I don't remember what I was thinking. It was all kind of a blur.
Yeah.
I remember the end of the game very well, but the rest of the game and halftime was just kind of one of those things where the adrenaline's going and you're just kind of not thinking about what's happening.
Yeah.
And I mean, the way that we came back in that second half of that game was something I'll never forget. And the way the game ended and things like that, it was, yeah, I was very, very hyped at the end of that game when I scored and Harley scored at the end.
Yep. Yep.
Reese coming clutch at hitting
Reese.
the conversion to win the game.
Yeah. Crazy, bro. But gear shift here. Let's break down, I guess, this fall season. Obviously we had to adjust and adapt because of COVID. We had, I guess, 3 games total, 2 15 games, and sevens competition, inter squad scrimmage on that one too. I guess the first question, and we'll break down the inter squad scrimmage. I remember that one. It was pretty good competition. Everyone was just hungry to play. It was crazy.
Yeah, it
And a
was
lot
one
of
of
the
those that,
freshmen, it
yeah,
was good. Like, it was a good
yeah,
game.
it was a great game. I mean, in the past we've had inter squad scrimmages where it's kind of
Pretty
been a bit
one-sided.
pretty one-sided. Yeah, this one was the exact opposite. It was it was very, very much, as you said, just hunger to play. The the rugby standard was high. Getting in terms of pattern and things like that. There was from both teams that there was a lot still to come, and we all knew that was going to happen. But I mean, as you said, 7 months off, not being able to do contact. We only, we weren't even allowed to do team practices until that week.
Right.
Um, yeah, it was just one of those. Everyone was just so eager to get on the pitch and tackle someone and go score a try and things like that. And yeah, I think I think it was 3 tries to 1 in the end
Yeah.
To the older guys. But, I mean, yeah, it was some game.
Yeah.
Everyone was there was a lot of freshmen and rookies that really put the hand up and showed what they're about and showed that they can, they're here to play. They're not here to just make up the numbers and be a player in a couple of years. They're here to play right now.
Right. Right. And it's good for our future too. Whenever we live, like we have freshmen that
Definitely.
actually know the standard too. That was a big thing going into that game. Like no matter what that goes on, we keep the standard. Like
100%. I'd
yeah.
yeah, I spoke to both teams throughout the week and Filippo, who was captain of their team,
Hmm.
the day before. I spoke to him after the game, and we both sort of said similar things before the game. It was very much brother versus brother, but when you get into that game, it was showtime, and everyone knew that, and there was no holding back, which I was so happy of. I wasn't worried, but I was intrigued to see how everyone would go about the game, see how everyone stood up, and I feel like that, like the inter squad scrimmage that we have every year is a big deciding factor as to how you personally going to go about this season. Because if you go into that game worried and you constantly thinking too much about everything, you may drift back. But I mean, all 45 people I think who played, every single one of them was like an animal out there. They just wanted to be set free for once, and
7 months. Everyone
yeah,
wanted. And the
everyone
thing is,
wanted something to
yeah,
do.
yeah. What they did is they broke it down into what we had 5 groups in the beginning.
Four
We
groups,
had
yeah, four
four,
groups.
and this was because we had to separate because of COVID. We couldn't be too like these are just precautions that we had to take. Um, yeah, and so we didn't really get to play against each other. We were just competing in those 4 groups, and then finally, whenever we started practicing, and when AHA Day came, it was nice. Our first tackle session,
Yeah,
that was
first
intense.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that
that's
that
what's
was
good. Mm.
yeah. That is what's good about every week. It's as I said before, we everything off the pitch, good, bad, and the ugly. Everything that happens. It's as soon as we put our training kit on in the training room and get onto that practice field, whether it's speed day or AHA day,
Yeah.
it's it's everyone has their own pride towards their own game, and we all have our own pride of our team, but no one ever lets the standards slip. Everyone's constantly raising each other's standards and everything like that, and it gets pretty heated on our hard days, especially.
Right.
um but I mean, that everyone loves it. No, everyone actually comes down excited for that kind of fight between everyone.
Right. If you're not hungry, if you're not, I guess, in a way pissed off, it isn't, you got to want it. And you got to want it bad enough. And I think that's what makes us good is that we compete like we're playing, whether it's speed day, AHA day. Speed day is just, I guess, for people listening, speed day is just practice where we're running, getting meters in, getting, I guess, good fitness in. And then AHA day is contact day. So that's whenever we're throwing shoulders at each other and, getting mad at each other and just trying to get the best out of each other. And I think that's what helped us. I think that's why our inter squad scrimmage was so good, is because the whole week we just want the best out of each other, and that
Yeah,
standard never slipped.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So next game we played the men's club. Going into that one, we had a good little break. We're supposed to. Did we have any games before that planned, or was that just the next one? Because it was a bit of time that we had before that game.
We I believe we after the inter-squad scrimmage, we were going to play the 404 team, the rugby ATL academy side, fall side, and then we were going to play the men's team. But unfortunately, 3 of the 4 groups had to quarantine I think in the space of about 5 days. Each group got dinged, leaving 10 people at practice. And so, both of those games had to get cancelled or postponed. And so, everyone, pretty much everyone in the squad had like 2 weeks off, and then we had a couple of weeks of practice, and then we had our men's club game.
Yeah. How do you think that was?
It was a really good game. I mean, going into it, I know I was very nervous because it was the first time we were playing against, they're still Life University, but we were playing against, another outfit rather than just in a squad scrimmage. And there was a lot of nerves. Well, for me personally, there was a lot of nerves, but I was so eager to get out there. And they've got a lot of rugby ATL guys, and they've got a really great team.
Yeah.
And so I was ready for us to get out there and show what this team was about, because as I said, I didn't even need the inter-squad scrimmage to see the standard, not just from the older guys, but from the younger guys. Yeah. And I mean, after that inter-squad scrimmage, I think 4 or 5, maybe 6 of the younger guys made it into the team that played against the men's club. And so that just shows the standard that they've brought. And so I was nervous. For me personally, I was confident about the team 100% of the way and throughout the game. And as I said, it was the same as the scrimmage, only having that inter-squad scrimmage and only being able to play in those groups, the pattern and things like the technical side of the way that we play as a team.
Yeah.
There were some lapses there and that type of thing. But I mean, that was expected. I wasn't worried about that. But I mean, the way that some people played and we took it to them, it was a really great game. And, I'm still speaking to the men's club guys about it now. And, they couldn't have praised the team anymore and said that, they're confident about us going into the season. So, it was one of those, we ended up losing the game, and I don't think the score showed the intensity of the game. I think there was a try or 2 in it in the end, but it was one of those that, it just came, it went all the way to the 80th minute of, I think the game ended with us defending a 5-meter line out from there and a line out maul, and we defended it, stopped, forced their mistake, and that was the end of the game. But I mean, what a high to end on, and that just kind of showed the intensity and level of the game from minute 1 all the way to the end.
Right. Yeah, bro. Yeah, crazy game, and a lot of them are professional too. So I think it was a good competition for the boys. And
I think they had about 10 professionals. It was a really high standard of game, which is it's great to see, and it's great to see for the program. Everyone that was watching it was, there were tries, there were points scored from both sides. There was a lot of entertaining back and forth play. I was very tired at one point, because I think there was one point where it was just constant, just back and forth, no stops in play for about 4 minutes type thing, just kicking it back and forth, turnovers here and there. It was a very kind of all out game.
Yeah.
Under the lights, which was, Friday night lights. That's
yes, sir. Yep. But I guess we'll end off with just talking about sevens real quick. Sevens, we had a convoy convoy tournament, sevens tournament, and I guess to talk about the different convoys, Bravo 6 being the best one, obviously.
Obviously.
Yes, sir.
I
We
mean, yeah. So last year we started off with we coach came up with the idea of making 4 different groups in the squad, convoys, we call them. For the military people out there, Esco, you want to explain convoys?
Oh yeah, convoys, just different, I guess, groups or squads inside a team, and that's kind of like what we kind of wanted to bring on is that, like, I guess, idea of camaraderie and brotherhood. And yeah, we're all going to compete, but we're going to separate into different teams, and it's just going to breed better competition. Uh, more of that standard where we're trying to push ourselves. And so, yeah, we broke down the convoys, and then within each convoy, we had a captain and co-captain. For Bravo 6, George is captain. I'm co-captain. There's also Jared Miller. He's also co-captain. And so we kind of just, within those teams and those systems, we are able to lead more, I guess, interpersonally, those players there and control what we can control with those players. And then as for the other convoys, they have their own leaders. And so it just breaks down the system a little more so we get a little bit more personal with our players and our teammates. But like essentially, yeah, we just break down those convoys so that we could compete and have fun.
Yeah, they're good fun. There's it's not just rugby. When we're in practice, we're split into those groups for the drills and type thing. There'll be gym challenges.
Yeah.
We have a GPA challenge for every quarter. The convoy that has the highest GPA, there'll be some kind of prize and reward.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be more to come along. And so this year we had the inaugural Convoy Sevens tournament. And it started out as an idea for everyone just to keep playing, because we were going to play some fall sevens before everything happened.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. It was a great day. It was one of those things where it was just another opportunity to play. The main idea for us this fall was make every opportunity count, because as I said, a few days, I think the day after the inter-squad scrimmage of 15s game, 2 groups got dinged, and then another group got dinged a few days later. So every opportunity, every practice was just one of those where you've just kind of got to take it and prove yourself, because you're not going to have 3, 4, 5 games to show that. And so this sevens tournament was just, it was a great day, and there was a lot of enjoyment going into it. But I know that every group like us were, they wanted to prove themselves and show what each convoy is about.
And every game was winnable. That's what's cool about it. And
definitely every single game, both sides could have gone out and balled out, and it showed a lot of people that you wouldn't have expected to be sevens players showed out, that type of thing. So
yeah, who ended up taking the dub?
Delivery boys. They delivered L's to everyone they played. I know that's their motto. So they're, for those that have watched and follow us on social media, I know you've seen Delivery Boys constantly celebrating it. They're never going to let any of us live it down winning the first one, but I'm confident Bravo 6 is going to come back. We've been the best for a year, obviously. We're going to continue being the best, and next year it's going to be ours.
Yeah. They won the battle, but not the war.
Exactly.
We'll come back. Hoorah. And that's kind of like our motto for Bravo 6. But there's Bravo 6, Delivery Boys, Park Rangers, and Goodfellas. Yeah. Yeah. So those are the 4 convoys that break it down. And what's pretty dope is that I feel like in the future we'll have like alumni and different competitions
I'm
even after.
I'm definitely coming back for that tournament.
Yeah.
We had Damo on the side coaching us.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Damon Torres, he's playing. Just got signed. ATL rugby.
he's the one and only Bravo 6 alumni right now. So he was leading the front for what we're gonna bring for years to come.
Heck yeah, bro. But shoot, it was a good conversation. Friday feeling. We'll end it on
Thanks for
that
having
one.
me.
Good talking to you, bro.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.